case.
I had a chance to talk to Viktor Shokin, a man who says he was friends of yours, who you asked to come back and help out during the transition after the previous regime. Is that why he got fired, because of the $1 billion and the former vice president, now president?
First of all, this is the completely crazy person.
All right, if there was ever a video that deserved a slow zoom, it was this one. And there's nothing quite like resting Kilmeade face either.
Second, there is no one single word of truth. And third, I hate the idea to make any comments and to make any intervention in the American election. We have very much enjoyed the bipartisan support. Please do not use such person like Shokin to undermine the trust between bipartisan support in Ukraine.
Seems like a weekly occurrence that the Biden impeachment narrative is debunked on Fox News, leaving whatever Fox News host looking like this while producers scream in their ear to cut to commercial. I mean, last week, Colorado Republican Ken Buck made sure to reiterate just how opposed he was to his colleagues' attempts to distract from the job that the Biden administration is doing, point by point.
So the evidence is very strong against Hunter Biden. There is very little evidence that links Hunter Biden with Joe Biden. Hunter Biden received a lot of money from Burisma, a Ukrainian oil and gas company, and Joe Biden fired a Ukrainian prosecutor named Shokin. The theory, I guess, is that the Burisma paid money to Hunter Biden so that Joe Biden would fire Shokin because Shokin was investigating Burisma. One, there is little to no evidence that Shokin was investigating Burisma. Two, Shokin was targeted by the European Union as well as our State Department to be fired because he was more corrupt than the people he was investigating.
This week, host Brian Kilmeade had former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko on air to discuss their alleged smoking gun by the name of Viktor Shokin, hoping it would further whet the appetite of viewers hoping to indulge in the nothing burger they're serving up. But it didn't quite go to plan.
I had a chance to talk to Viktor Shokin, a man who says he was friends of yours, who you asked to come back and help out during the transition after the previous regime. Here's what he said on why he was fired by you. Listen.
Poroshenko fired me at the insistence of the then Vice President Biden because I was investigating Burisma. There were no complaints whatsoever, no problems with how I was performing at my job, but because pressure was repeatedly put on President Poroshenko, that is what ended up in him firing me.
Is that why he got fired, because of the $1 billion and the former vice president, now president?
First of all, this is the completely crazy person. And this is something wrong with him. Second, there is no one single word of truth. And third, I hate the idea to make any comments and to make any intervention in the American election. We have very much enjoyed the bipartisan support, and please do not use such person like Shokin to undermine the trust between bipartisan support in Ukraine.
Right. What do you mean? He's not your friend?
I don't see him maybe 4 years or something at all. And hate the idea to have him because he played very dirty game, unfortunately.
Okay, so that is not true. He didn't get fired because of Joe Biden.
He was fired but because of his own statement. And if he do not do that, next day Ukrainian parliament will fire him with that.
All right, Mr. President, thanks so much. Stay safe. Best of luck along the way in this counterinsurgency. Hope you make some big progress through the rest of the fall. Thank you, sir.
I mean, you quite literally called him a crazy person. On said network of mostly crazy people who often indulge in crazy conspiratorial madness. I mean, bravo to the writers off strike, because clearly they got to work on this one. But here's the thing, if you're wondering, will this finally lay to rest their relentless attempts to make a mockery of themselves? And the answer is absolutely not. I mean, this very argument has already been debunked.
The president is right to say that he didn't have anything to do with it, because that's exactly what Devon Archer's testimony confirmed. I honestly can't believe it. We were talking about it on the 5 yesterday.
Devon Archer said he wasn't,
let me speak.
Hold on. Devon Archer said he wasn't on the phone calls. For instance, the Dubai call, he walked out of the room during the call.
Oh, okay.
So
well, there's more that Devon Archer said. Like, he wasn't aware of any wrongdoing by the president.
He's not an attorney. I'll just put that out there. He's not. And we don't know all of what happened on that call in
Devon
terms
Archer
of the texture
either
of it. matters
or he doesn't. And it was billed as bombshell testimony. I'm here to tell you why it wasn't a bombshell. So again, he said, not aware of any wrongdoing by the president. That 1023 form that Republicans like Jim Comer and everyone love to wave around, he says it wasn't any evidence of wrongdoing on the part of President Biden, that it wasn't evidence of a bribe. He knows nothing of the, quote, $5 million that the Burisma board allegedly gave to Joe Biden. He also talked about what happened with Viktor Shokin, the Ukrainian prosecutor being fired by Joe Biden and the rest of the international community. He said that Viktor Shokin was good for Burisma, that he wasn't investigating corruption there. Every piece of evidence, so-called evidence, that the Republicans have has utterly fallen apart, which is why Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson have admitted on our air multiple times that they don't, quote, have it yet.
Time and time again, not only by resident liberal voice of sanity Jessica Tarlow, but by fellow Republicans.
If you want to understand just how ridiculous and cynical this impeachment attempt is, let me introduce you to Republican Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado.
2 days ago, you said that the time for impeachment is when there's evidence linking President Biden to a high crime or misdemeanor. You said, quote, that doesn't exist right now. Do you still feel that way tonight?
I have not seen any evidence that links President Biden to Hunter Biden's activities at this point. I will be getting a briefing later in the week. I'm looking forward to understanding more of what the Oversight Committee has uncovered. But at this point, I have not seen that evidence.
Of what exactly the Biden family was doing with our adversaries in China.
Okay, we will see where the next chapter leads. James Comer, thank you for your time. It's rather incendiary, and we'll see whether or not you're onto something. Again, 5 years investigating. Nothing just yet.
And they still tried to beat a dead drum. Well, at least it will give us more moments to look forward to like this.
That's what has to be investigated, and I'm all for the investigation, not an inquiry with the label of impeachment. But we have 3 committees right now, the Oversight Committee, the Judiciary Committee, and the Ways and Means Committee, that are investigating Hunter Biden's activities. And they're doing a great job. They're uncovering a lot of good information. They just haven't found that link yet with Joe Biden.
Of the Republican Party who serve in Congress don't agree with him. So much so that they're on record saying things like this. David Joyce, Congressman, I'm not seeing the facts or evidence. Dusty Johnson, there's a constitutional and legal test that you have to meet with evidence, and I haven't seen it. Don Bacon, there should be a direct link to the president and some of the evidence. I think we need to have more concrete evidence to go down that path. And then Ken Buck, the time for impeachment is the time when there's evidence linking President Biden. And I don't think that evidence has been presented.
Hey, Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.